Hello and welcome to another session in mathematics. In this session we'll be looking at statistics 2. But before that, let us take a review of our previous lesson. Welcome back. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at frequency distribution of grouped data. Remember, all this while we've been solving mean, mode, and median under the ungrouped data. But in today's lesson, we'll be going over to grouped data. Okay. Apart from that, we'll have to look at the introductory part of the frequency distribution of grouped data. Then that will lead us to learning about class interval, class limit, class boundary, class mark, or mid value. Okay, you can call it class mark or mid value. So let's quickly go over to the business of the day. Whenever a set of data contains a large number of values, then the numbers are grouped and represented in a frequency table. They are grouped and represented in a frequency table the way we've been doing it before, but the only difference is that this will be grouped. Normally it was written 1 1, okay, but now it will be grouped and we have the class interval, the class mark, and the rest of them. To explain the meaning of these terms, class intervals and the rest of them, I want to give us an example that we'll be using in solving these problems. Okay, we'll have a data here on the screen that we'll use in explaining the terms class mark, class interval, class boundaries, class size, and the rest of them. Okay, so we say all these data are scored by 40 students in a class, and then we are asked to A, prepare the class intervals using 1 to 20, 21 to 40, and the rest of them. B, we are asked to show the class boundaries, class mark, and the class size in the table. Okay, so we are asked to prepare a frequency table which will contain the class boundary, the class mark, the class size, and also we should use the class interval 1 to 20, 21 to 40, and the rest of them. So let us go to the next page as we begin to solve this. Okay, solution. We first of all have a class interval, which is the first column. Class intervals, and we then have our tally. Then we have our frequency, and then we have our class boundary, okay. After that we have our class mark, and the last thing we'll solve for is the class size or class width. You can call it class size or the class width. Okay, we start. For the intervals, we are given 1 to 20, then 21 to 40, okay, from the question. So we then have 41 to 60, 41 to 60, then to be 61 to what? To 80. Okay, then we'll have the last one, which will be 81 to 100. Is that correct? Okay, let us now go down to the business. So the first thing we need to do is to count the numbers that fall between this range 1 to 20. Let us start. 10 is 1. We have 19 2. We have 9 3. We have 18 4. We have 12 5. We have 8 6. We have 6 of them, so we have 6. And for tally we have 1 2 3 4 5, then 6. Okay, then we have 21 to 40. 21 to 40 we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 9 10 11 12 12 13 14. There are 14 of them, so we write down 14. Here we have 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 14. Then we look for those under 41 to 60. 41 to 60. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We have 41 to 60. We have this 9. Okay, there are 9 of them. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4. We write down a 9. Then we have 61 to 80. 61 to 80. 1 61 to 80. 2 3 4 4 5 6. There are 6 of them. We have here to be 6. 1 2 3 4 5, then 1. Then 81 to 100. 81 to 100. We have 1 2 3 4 5. 5 of them. 1 2 3 4 5, and write 5. Okay, now for class boundaries. How do we obtain class boundaries? We add minus 0.5 to both sides of the class interval. We have 1, so we have 1 minus 0.5 minus 20 minus 0.5. Okay, now for the first class boundary here, we have 1 minus 0.5 minus 20 minus 0.5, and that will give us 0.5 minus 20.5. Is that correct? So our class boundary for this is 0.5 minus 20.5. Okay, do the same thing in the second one. What do we have? We have 21 minus 0.5 minus 40 minus 0.5, and that will give us 20.5 minus 40.5. Is that correct? So we have 20.5 minus 40.5. Do the same thing in this other ones. For this, you have 40.5 minus 60.5. For this, you have 60.5 minus 80.5. For this, you have 80.5 minus 100.5. Okay, that's how to obtain the class boundaries. Then for the class mark, how do we obtain the class mark? The class mark is the addition of these 2 class intervals and then divided by 2. So it will be 1 plus 20 all over 2. 1 plus 20 will give us 21. 21 divided by 2 will give us what? 10.5. Okay, this will now be 21 plus 40. 21 plus 40 all over 2. And that will give us 61 divided by 2. 61 divided by 2 will give us 30.5. Do we understand? Then same thing here, 41 plus 60, which will give us what? 101. 101 divided by 2, which will give us 50.5. If you do the same here, you have 70.5. Do the same here, you have 90.5. That's how to obtain the class mark. Now for the class size, which is the last one, the class size is the upper class boundary minus the lower class boundary. The upper class boundary, this is what we call the upper class boundary. These ones are what we call the upper class boundary. Then minus what? The lower class boundary. That will give us what? The class size. Okay. Now for this, it is equal to 20.5 minus 0.5. That will give us what? 20. Is that correct? And for this, it is 40.5 minus 20.5, and that will give us what? 20. Do we understand? Then for this, it is 60.5 minus 40.5, and that will give us what? 20. So you agree with me that the class size is the same. Is that correct? If you still apply it here, you have 80.5 minus 60.5, and that will give you 20. Then for this, you have 100.5 minus 80.5, which is still 20. Okay. Now that is how we can actually find the values of the class interval, the class boundaries, the class mark, and the class size. Okay, let us stop here for today. In our next class, then we'll take examples of the following that we've done so far. So to refresh your memory of what we've done so far, kindly provide the answer to the following questions on the screen. Welcome back. So far we've been able to explain the class interval, class limit, class boundary, class mark, and mid value of group data. Okay, we'll stop here for today. So do well to use the lesson note on the platform for more information on the topic we've just discussed, and feel free to leave a comment or question on the comment section. Okay, till we meet again in our next class, stay safe and bye.